long do we have to make our escape, I asked. Sam then stuck up 7 fingers. 7 minutes, I said. Where are we going to? George asked. My costume shop. I think there would be something there that is useful for us, Hannah answered. What is it? I asked. Wait and see, Hannah asked. Then we are leaving now, I said. Can I come too? The return asked. No, dumbass, I answered. We then rushed out and went straight down the stairs and into the lobby. No one was into the lobby when we got there. Before we went outside into the tear gas filled streets of the loop, we heard Sam roar. What is it, Sam? Sam then brought out a tear gas bomb and put it back in. He is carrying and flashed all 10 of his fingers at once. At once, twice. You have 20 You have 20 bombs? I asked. Sam then nodded. Sam then brought out the gun. What did you bring back for me? Just to talk about guns, I asked. Sam then flashed me 3 figures and then he flashed me 7. He must have brought 3 of the 7 bullets, Hannah said. Hannah said, fine. Whatever you do, don't fire at other people, I said. We then rushed outside into Red Jackson Station. Guys, I got them, said the police officer at the Red Jackson entrance. Sam then lit a tear gas bomb and we rushed for the platform. Could the tear gas reach down here? George asked. Remember that we keep our shirts over our noses while we are walking through it, I reminded. The next Red Line train heading south toward 9050 and Ryan then pulled into Red Jackson, and it was evacuating people outside of downtown Chicago. Have one in your hand, but don't light it or show it yet, I told Jim as we were entering the train. Sam nodded. Are you going to talk to me again in plain English soon? I asked. Sam nodded no. Fine, just do as I say, I said to Sam. Our train did pulled out of Red Jackson Station, and no one was in our car. However, once we got off at Chinatown Cermak Road Red Line Station, we were noticed, and we lit, and Sam put a stop to it with a tear gas bomb. What are we going to do if we are noticed in the costume shop? George asked. We will light another one, and we will just have to make do with what we have, Hannah answered. Who is the general? I asked. If it involves a place associated with me, I am, answered Hannah. Marcacius shrugged and we went inside. What are we here for? I asked. I'm going to improve our cloaks, Hannah answered. How? I asked. I'm going to insert straps so we can put our canes in them, so that way we can also use them as hang gliders to get away faster. You all brought your canes? Hannah asked. Yes, we all answered. Except there was one problem, I said. What is it? Hannah asked. We need to take our cloaks off to sew them on, I asked. He's right, said George. Added Sam. Can you use the sewing machine at our house? Hannah asked. Yes, or else can have your cloaks off in homes of other wearers, as you did earlier, I answered. Good, Hannah answered. Hannah then purchased some red, orange, green, and yellow fabric, and we went back to the Chinatown Cermak Red Line Station and hopped onto the next train to Howard. And no one was on the train when we entered. Let's hope this is a relaxing ride, I said. Just as we pulled out and began heading north, we didn't realize that there was a SWAT team hiding under the seats. Oh shit, I spoke too soon, I said. Is this a surrender? Asked one of the members of the SWAT team. No, I answered. Have it your way then. You still have 69 hours, but you had to stay in your house. So now we are going to arrest all 4 of you now, said the SWAT man. Just then Sam made his noise and jumped on top of the SWAT man who told us that. George and Hannah, get down! I screamed. I then knocked George and Hannah down like bowling pins. What the? George asked as I covered his mouth. I must protect you from, I said before I was interrupted. I then heard gunshots go off. That, I said. Can you tell me what's going on? Hannah yelled over the gunshots going off. No, I yelled back. I then saw the cops fall like dominoes. Let's get off this train and wait for the next one, I said. We traveled only the 2 stations north to Harrison, which was the stop off of Jackson, and the train went on. Sam, how many bullets do you have left? I asked. Sam then opened the gun and out came 3 bullets. You didn't need to use what? You didn't need to use one or tear gas? Sam nodded. I asked. So Sam nodded. Some SWAT. It must have been from. He must have fired one of the SWAT team's things. We then all laughed. How long till the next red line train to Howard? I asked. 7 minutes according to the monitor, George answered. Dang, I forgot to look up, I said. We then all laughed again. Sam uses his weapon. Sam, use weapons on the next train if we are ambushed again, I said to Sam. Sam nodded. I hope the next few days are not going to be like this all the time, said Hannah. Me too. Me 3, said George. Sam then pointed to himself and flashed us 4. Translation, me 4, said George. I could get used to your language, I said. Sam smiled. Let me ask you this. Are you going to revert to normal and be less vicious once we finally save Mom? I asked Sam. Sam nodded. Good, I said. There was a pause as I was waiting for the next train to pull in. I just want to make sure. Is everyone okay? I asked. Better now, said Hannah. What about the other 2 of you? I asked. I think Hannah spoke for both of us. Sam nodded. I then kissed Hannah on the lips. What was that for? Hannah asked with a smile because I know she liked it. Just to say I love you and for us to get through this. Thanks, Hannah said. Our red line train to Howard then pulled in. Thankfully, the driver did not see who we were in the doors and opened an empty car, and there was no one in our car once we got further north of downtown Chicago. We then had more passengers board, and no one knew who we were, so it was a pleasant ride up to Howard. Once we got off, we went right up to Hannah's bedroom in her house. Where are your parents? I asked. Probably in the bar, Hannah answered. I'm going to get them, I said. Don't, they'll blow our cover, Hannah said. Good point, but how are we going to tell them what is going on, I asked. They'll find out soon enough, Hannah said. Hannah then brought out the sewing machine from her closet. Canes, please, Hannah said. We then gave Hannah our canes. So, when are we going to leave for Detroit? George asked. Tomorrow morning, I answered. Oh, are you trying to tell me what time? I asked. Sam nodded. 8, I answered. Says who? Hannah asked. Well, I have been looking into Greyhound bus tickets out of Evanston. What do you expect if we need to be here as soon as possible? I asked. We're not going to take a Greyhound, Hannah answered. Then what are we taking? I asked. My dads both have motorcycles, and each of them have an attachable seat to the side that children can sit in, Hannah answered. I have my driver's license with me, with me the whole time since the helicopters arrived. Do you have yours? I asked. Yes, Hannah answered. Good, I said. I wouldn't have recommended it if I didn't have it, Hannah said. There was a pause that was soon interrupted by George. Are we sleeping here tonight? George asked. Yes, Hannah answered. Is that okay with you? George asked. Yes, I answered. Are we going to spend the night in Detroit? George asked. I don't know. Show me your answer to combine our riddles in New York City. I answered. George then brought out his riddle. We need to meet Dr. Lucas Jacobs and come with $700? What? We weren't told about money, I yelled. Hold on, said Hannah. Hannah then came from the sewing machine, and then we heard something made of ceramic chatter. There was more than $700 in here, said Hannah. Where is this money coming from? I asked. My tips, said Hannah. No, I couldn't, I said. I didn't bother to spend them before, so I'll probably never spend them if I didn't touch them, said Hannah. Are you sure? I asked. Yes, Hannah answered. I then broke down and she was crying and I hugged Hannah. It is okay. Soon I'm going to make a lot more money soon as a lawyer, said Hannah. No, you won't, I said through the tears. Yes, I will, said Hannah. No, you won't, I said. Why? Hannah asked. Because we will all be in jail by then, I answered. My brothers then went up to Hannah and hugged her. Thank you, Hannah, said George through the tears. Translation, thank you. I'm not really dropping any money. The amount of money I'm giving up is really the same amount of money as a day of my salary, Hannah said. I know, but still, I said. There was then a pause interrupted by the last thing I wanted to be interrupted by.